Do, 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 do. Oh man. Welders set off Beirut blast while securing explosives. God, this is huge. That's wild. A miniature Incan llama. What's up? What do we have here today on Hacker News? What is the future of servo? What is servo? Do, do, do. New browser engine. What is this thing? It's enormous. It's a modern high-performance browser engine designed for both application, sponsored by Mozilla and written in the new systems programming language Rust. What the hell are they talking about? What is servo? Not a motor. There we go. It's an experimental browser engine, memory safety properties, and concurrency features of Rust. Who cares about Rust? Fine grade isolated tasks. Okay. Kind of boring. Stanford cancels plans to bring half of undergrads back to campus. Yeah, like no kidding, right? Am I crazy, or like why are people pretending like this is a joke? The university has canceled nearly all in-person instruction for the upcoming fall quarter and is suspending its plans to provide on-campus housing to frosh sophomores. Recent guidance for higher education to curtail the spread of COVID-19 prohibits most indoor classes, while our country's still on the watch list. Yeah. No kidding. Do, 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 do. What are we gonna play with today? What should we play with? CloudFront, manage blockchain. This seems kind of useful. I've never used simple email. Chime. Man, they're just growing this server list like crazy. I can't keep up. Personal health dashboard. What the hell is this? What is this like? What is this thing? AWS personal health dashboard. Monitor, manage, and optimize your AWS environment. Alerts and remediation guidance. Oh, okay. So it's like if you have some kind of policy breaching setup, it'll tell you when there's an issue so you can fix it. That's pretty cool. CloudTrail, CloudFormation, Honeycode. This just got announced, Honeycode. What is this thing? I think it's like a workflow, like programming workflow kind of thing. Not available. It's only available in US West. Let's watch this.
You're a doer.
Hey, Sudhir. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining. No problem, man. I'm trying to get a better handle on what kind of videos people like to watch, if you have any suggestions. Recently, I've been doing some just generic stuff, but kind of like trying all sorts of different areas. But I don't know if I'm going to do AWS stuff forever, because there's only so much I can talk about AWS. I know there's a lot of topics, but sometimes you just get sick of it, you know? And it's just like AWS, constantly learning AWS. It's like, I need a break sometimes. Drives me a little crazy. Some of this stuff is pretty exciting. SWF. EventBridge. I've heard people say good things about EventBridge. It's kind of like SNS, but more organized. That's my TLDR of it. How it works. Serverless event bus. I don't know if you guys can see this picture. Let's make it big. Let's look at the picture first. So services. Okay, so you have event services that follow a schema. And schema registry. The hell is that? Oh. Okay, so the service is sent to the event source, and then I guess you define different types of event buses, and rules. Okay, so rules is like your routing layer that says like where do you want to send it to, like someone's Lambda, an SNS, an endpoint, yada yada yada. Well, there's 5 people. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good night. If you have anything you want to talk about, any questions or anything, I'm open to talking about whatever right now. I'm just kind of poking around things that I've never used in AWS, trying to learn more. It's a serverless event bus that makes it easy to connect your applications with data from a variety of sources. EventBridge delivers a stream of real-time data from your own applications. Software as a service, applications, AWS. Okay, so yeah. So this, again, this seems like SNS on crack a little bit. Ingest data from blah, blah. Easily build event-driven architectures. Your event targets don't need to be aware of event sources because you can filter and publish directly to EventBridge. So this is like a useful concept of like decoupling services. So when the person producing the event doesn't have a tight coupling to whoever is receiving the event, it lowers the burden on the producer because now they can just be agnostic. They don't care who's listening, they're just pushing events. So this is why SNS is a powerful concept, because the data owner just pushes to SNS, and then he's alleviated from the responsibility of calling other people to notify them that something changed. Now it's just done via an SNS topic, and then everyone's happy. So how does it work? Create rule. This is too big. Wait, I need to create an event bus first, right? Event buses receive events from a variety of sources and match them to rules in your account. Different types of event buses receive events from different sources, blah, 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 blah. What is this? What does this do? Come on. Oh, I think it's going. Oh, that's kind of cool. Is this going to like find things that exist on my account and tell me about them? That'd be pretty sweet. Test event bus. I just want permissions. Hello, 5 people. Okay. I have an event bus now. What do I do with it? What the hell is going on? Like, I'd appreciate a little bit of guidance here on like how this works. You define rules in your database account to process. Oh, okay. A rule watches for certain types of events and routes them to one or more targets you have specified. Target then performs some kind of action. Okay. When you create a rule, you can have it pass the JSON event text straight to the targets or customize the event's text before passing it. So I guess I need to create a rule then, right? Oh, there we go. What's partner event sources? Oh, cool. So you can like natively integrate with some of these other companies. Neat, neat. Did I just see MongoDB there? What the hell? Cool, so you can get events from MongoDB. I wonder if like GitHub is on here. No? Oh. Rules. A rule watches for specific types of events. When a matching event occurs, the event is routed to the targets associated with the rule. A rule can be associated with one or more targets. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hi. I'm actually going to create a rule. You're Japanese. Cool. Where are you from? And how do you say your name, importantly? Hi, Niraj. I don't have any certs. I have learned everything by doing, basically by doing, and building services at work, and understanding how AWS ticks and everything. Hi, Baco, or Bacho. I don't think you necessarily need certifications, to be honest. Although, like, I can see that they're useful in many different parts of the industry, like for networking and all that. I think like CCNA or something is a networking one. Mauritania, Africa. Is that where you're from? Mauritania, Africa. Africa. Cool. Look at this. Someone's all the way from over here. Arby. Talk about connecting people across the world, eh? Look at this. Crazy. AWS, GCP, Azure all have many different services available. Do you think most of them are useless? I think, so let me bring my chat here. Just dropped to say hi, can't stay, but I actually spent today watching your videos. Love your work, man. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I'll put this back actually. I really appreciate the support. I can't believe like how supportive everyone's been with this channel. It's kind of crazy how quick it's been growing. But again, thanks so much, Sanjay. And Niraj, you're asking about if most of the services are useless. Well, I mean, I think there's overlap, definitely. And sometimes it's difficult to tell like when to use what. But I think most things have a time and a place. Now, when I say like there's overlap, so here's exactly what I mean. You have Elasticsearch, right? Which is a text-based search engine. Then you have like Cloud Search, which does the same thing, but this is an AWS product, and like Amazon builds this. Whereas Elasticsearch, if you've never seen Elasticsearch before, Elasticsearch, this is an open source thing, right? So they wrap like a shell around this and then, you know, build a managed solution and whatever. So like some of them are useless in the sense that there's overlap, but you know, in terms of practicality, like AWS Outposts, I think what they're trying to do is appeal, like what I think you have to understand is that there's different levels of users. There's people that want like the low level product where you have maximum flexibility. And there's people that want the mid-level product where it's like you get your hands holded and all that. And then there's people that want to be completely hands off. And there's different like tiers of products that serve to all these different use cases, right? They're trying to make it more accessible, I think. I don't even know what Outpost is actually. I'd have to look that up to tell you what my thoughts are. I've heard the name, I just don't know. Arturo Garcia, I just dropped by to say I just got certified on AWS Cloud Practitioner. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. I hope my channel helped you out learning some cloud concepts. And Monday you'll take the solutions architect. Well, my friend, good luck. I hope you do well. And I hope you go far with your certification. What is Outposts? AWS Outposts brings native AWS service infrastructure and operating models to virtually any data center colocation. Start by creating and configuring your Outpost to run. I guess I'd have to watch this video.
Companies are rapidly adopting the cloud for agility and lower costs. However,
it's
some
too loud, let me
workloads
know.
need to remain on-premises due to low latency or local data processing needs. Instead of using different development and operating models for on-premises and cloud workloads, what if developers can use the same services and APIs they use in the cloud to develop applications on-premises? And what if IT can use the same tools to manage and operate IT resources across on-premises and cloud? AWS Outposts bring AWS infrastructure, services, APIs, and tools to any on-premises facility with reliable network connectivity for a truly consistent hybrid experience.
Dude, this is awesome. This is like, how does this work practically speaking? Like, does this mean you can host your own local cloud? That's nuts. But I think I need to watch this more. But I think this is like certainly useful. So I'll tell you who this is useful for. This is useful for people with like super high data confidentiality requirements, where they have like an info security policy where it's like data can never leave our network, something like that. So stuff like public health records, stuff like, you know, police report, like very, very sensitive information. And this kind of reminds me of GovCloud. And with GovCloud, it's like a private network, but Amazon hosts it and manages it, right? But it's for like the US government and like intelligence services and stuff. So no one has access, it's just GovCloud. I use Neptune. Are you talking about the service Neptune? No, I've used it before, just as like a tinkering project. It's a graph database. I believe, if I'm thinking of the right name. Oh, read step 2. Let me go back. Outpost. Order capacity. Oh, cool. So they do ship you the hardware, eh? You create a subnet, launch an instance. Oh, so like you just create data volumes? And instances. Okay, okay, okay. Holy crap, this is expensive. Outpost service pricing is inclusive of EC2 instances and EBS volumes, as well as equipment delivery, installation, and maintenance. Payment term is 3 years. You can choose between these payment options, upfront, partial. Okay, so general purpose unit for development and testing with the smallest compute footprint. Wow. That is a pretty penny. Compute optimized medium unit used for, okay. It's a little bit out of my budget. I don't know about you guys. Let's see. How high can we go? How high can we go? 28,000 a month. What the hell? What's the highest one? All up front, $300,000. Good Lord. Who would use outposts? Yeah, I think primarily government institutions. But it's also, I mean, who knows, right? There's all sorts of people that have highly sensitive data requirements, right? So it's hard to really say who needs it. But like security, military, government, like public health, hospital records, police records, all that kind of stuff that is sensitive. Oh, so this is different per region too. Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, I think it's a neat idea. What was I looking at? Oh, I was looking at Neptune. No, I was looking at Event Bus. I was going to talk about Neptune. Or Event Bridge. Is that what it was? Yeah. So I got to create a rule. Test. Rule. Test dash rule. Oh no. What is this? Build or customize an event pattern or set a schedule to invoke targets. Choosing schedule makes the rule that is triggered regularly on a schedule you specify. You can use simple fixed rate schedulers that triggers every certain number of minutes, hours, or weeks. You can use a cron expression to create a more fine-grained schedule, such as the first Monday. Okay. So this is like CloudWatch rule? Is that what this is? I've used this before, but for a different purpose. Event matching pattern, predefined pattern by service. AWS. Lambda. Oh, cool. AWS API call via CloudTrail? What does this even do? So is this like reacting? The thing I don't get about this is like, is this thing reacting to just like events that take place on the control plane of the Lambda? Like, you know, uploading a Lambda, creating a Lambda, saving a Lambda, setting the version, setting the alias, all that stuff. Or is this thing going to be like processing the output of the Lambda, like its return value? You know what I'm saying? What about this? Custom pattern. What is this called? AWS Event Bus Rule Pattern. That's what I need to Google. Let's table that. AWS default event bus. Select targets. Select targets to invoke when an event matches your event pattern when schedule is triggered. I don't have a Lambda on this, on Ireland, so it's not going to work. Oh. this is interesting. So it seems like, oh, 7 people. Hello, everyone. If you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, I'm just kind of messing around in the console right now and just doing things. Matched events. So that's, I guess, what we would have written up above here in this section, but I don't know how to do that yet. Okay, so then you can take like a piece of it. I'm assuming this is like some kind of like regex pattern or something. Or you can have a constant, so it's just basically like a poke with the same value every time. Or a transformer, interesting. So you can use like mappings. So, if you want to flatten the object a little bit, you can say, you're saying state. Oops, that went away. So you're setting the output to be state, and that is based on the inputs detail state nested object. Same for detail and instance ID. So you're just flattening the object here, getting rid of the detail key. A string containing placeholders which will be filled with values defined in input paths. The state of instance state. I don't know what that means. What? Okay, so I'm still lost on the rule part. How to query DynamoDB using only API gateway plus key. Is that an ask for a video? I'll look into that. So what was I looking at? Event bridge rule. You know what I want to Google? Event bridge versus SNS. That's really the question. And I'm sure there's going to be a great Stack Overflow question. Ooh, this is not what I expect. Oh wow, look at this. Does this make SNS obsolete? Why EventBridge will change the way you build? This sounds too good to be true. All right, top Google hit. Let's go. Yes, you can have my cookies. Jeez. SNS and SQS. Da, 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 da. Oh. Really? Formerly CloudWatch events has become a popular alternative. If you're still on the fence, then allow me to give you 5 reasons. SNS supports a handful of different targets, including SQS and Lambda. True. EventBridge, on the other hand, supports 20 targets. Okay, cool. The list includes the likes of SNS, SQS, Kinesis, ECS. Huh. The extensive reach helps us remove a lot of unnecessary glue code. For example, to start a step function state machine, we'd have needed a Lambda function between SNS and step functions. With EventBridge, we can connect the rule to the state machine directly. The ability to deliver events to another AWS account also extends its reach massively. This was possible with SNS, so what's the fuss? Allowing you to trigger ECS tasks running in another AWS account, or to allow the CISO and security teams to monitor everything happening inside your account. You're limited to 5 targets to EventBridge rule. See, this is, okay, I remember this now. When I first looked at this at EventBridge, I'm like, blah, this is not acceptable. Whereas SNS has a mammoth limit of 12.5 million. Holy crap. In addition to custom application events, EventBridge can also capture events of what's happening in your AWS region, such as when EC2 instance state has changed. So what is he doing here? So event pattern, so he's using a pattern. Predefined pattern by service. Okay, so he's saying when this happens, okay, so this is kind of cool, right? So this, like, I see what he's saying. Instead of, like, the alternative way of doing what he's doing here, and essentially what he's doing, what he's doing here is he's subscribing to a specific event type that's occurring on the EC2 service. So like when instances change state, because maybe you want to like write a Lambda function or do something that does that, reacts to that rather. So what you would normally need is, you're listening to CloudTrail or you're listening to some other kind of event source to get this, and piping that to an SNS topic and then putting that to a Lambda function or something like that. It can also capture API calls that have been recorded by CloudTrail, which provides a significant coverage of available AWS services. Okay. So what they're saying here is basically if they don't support the thing that you're looking for, then use CloudTrail and put a filter here. Third-party things, we saw that. Content-based filtering. SNS lets you filter via filter policies. However, this support is limited as you can't filter messages by their content. You can only filter by message attributes and are limited to just 10 attributes per message. Okay. Gives you a way to pattern match against the event content. And in addition, it also supports advanced filtering rules such as numeric compare. Oh, wow. This is great. Numeric comparison, prefix matching, IP address matching, existence matching, anything but matching. Ooh, check out this blog post on content-based filtering. I will. Being able to do content-based filtering means it's possible to have a single event bus for all publishers. And if you're just joining, guys, we're reading about event bus right now. Whereas with SNS, you often have to have multiple topics to ensure subscribers only receive the events they need. True. Having a single centralized event bus simpler to manage, especially when you have the ability to register and discover event schemas. Common challenge with event-driven architecture, schema discovery, is identifying and versioning event schemas. EventBridge deals with this challenge with its schema registry. It provides the schema for all AWS events out of the box. Guys on the chat, if you're interested in something else, by the way, let me know and we can read about that or learn about that. I'm just kind of doing whatever. So what was this? Event schema registry. Oh, so this is like version control for your events. This is cool. This is cool. Once enabled, EventBridge would sample, what is this? You can also enable schema discovery on both the default event bus as well as any custom event buses you've created. Once enabled, EventBridge would sample, oh wow, this is great. Samples ingested events and auto-generates the schema definitions. That's cool. From here you can generate language, whoa! Whoa! That is next level. From here, you can generate language bindings for Java, Python, and TypeScript, and browse these schemas in VS Code. Opening that for later reading. Another powerful feature of EventBridge is that it allows you to transform the event before passing it as input to the targets. Right, so that's what we saw before with a mapping. In summary, consider EventBridge to your stack instead of sticking with these tried and tested SNS because supports a lot more targets, meaning you can integrate between a wider variety. Supports accounts delivery capability. Its cross-accounts delivery capability further amplifies its reach. It's easy to distribute the events to Kinesis step functions and many other services. Native events and third-party events, content-based filterings, blah, 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 blah. But I guess the problem is that it only has 10 or what is it, 15 maximum subscriptions, which isn't going to work for a lot of use cases. Tim Bray. Isn't this the guy that quit Amazon or something? The publish subscribe pattern is central to data in motion. Event-driven and messaging-based apps. Pub sub just isn't complete without some sort of declarative filtering. I agree. So you can subscribe to a huge shared torrent of data and only see the parts of it that you need. You could look at everything and write code to reject the data you don't care about. Event facet series. Well, who is this guy? Moving to event-driven architecture. Broker versus serverless. Your event. This is some good good information here, Tim Bray. Webhook is just another word for push. I didn't know that. I've heard the word webhook all over the place, but I haven't been like, meh, I don't need to know this now. I thought it was a complete magic. I'll just send you something, and the something will include the address where you HTTP post back to me. It'll be asynchronous, loosely coupled. There's a lot of webhooks out there. We talk to the EventBridge partners who are injecting their customers. Oh, so webhooks, I guess, mean you're on the receiving end of the push. So you're a subscriber. It turns out that this, so he's talking about the SNS architecture. It turns out that the software that delivers to HTTP endpoint subscriptions is big and maybe the most complex part of the whole service. When I learned that, I asked one of the engineers why, and she told me because those are other people's endpoints. That's funny. They make a configuration mistake or forget to rotate credentials or send a flood of traffic that's like 8 times what they can handle. And we have to keep running in all those cases. That's funny. Who is this guy? A bookmark this dude. Long links. Okay, but like this is very political. I care about tech, please. I saw street sweepers. Break up Google. Oh yeah, this was the guy that I think when someone got injured in one of the stations, I think he said something and it didn't go over well. Something like that. Hey Leon, how's it going, man? From learning tech to politics, I know. I hope you're not talking about me. I don't really care about politics. Although I care about what affects me. It's kind of selfish, but I guess everyone's selfish in their own ways. Oh, here it is. May 1st was my last day as a VP and distinguished engineer. After 5 years and 5 months of rewarding fun. Cool, man. Thanks for stopping by. How's your schooling going? Remember you said you were studying. Featuring Stuart Reichling. Originally from Envoy. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to read AWS Builder Hub. Because this has some awesome articles. So if you guys have never seen this before, Currently not in classes starting up next spring after a gap semester. Hey, man, if you need to take some time off, you take some time off. Ain't nothing wrong with that. When I was doing my schooling, I think I switched degrees like 3 times or something. I started with a, I don't even know what I was too young in retrospect. Started with doing like some business thing. I'm like, I don't really like this. And then I'm like, oh, computer science, that's fun. Let's try that. And I did that for like 1.5 years, 2 years. And then my school had a strike for like 8 months. And I was like, are they ever going to come back? And it was kind of confusing. So I ended up transferring to another school where I did like a IT degree. And I carried over some of my classes from computer science. So I was able to get a minor there. And then I did my master's in like the branch of IT I was studying, which was geographic information systems, which are these things. Which is like a lot of mapping, a lot of spatial algorithms, the spread of people over time and space, cluster analysis, remote sensing, things like that. And there was like a programming element in there too, which was really fun. So it's interesting though, because like I kind of came full circle. It's like I started business, well, not really full circle, but kind of. Did like computer science, and then I switched, and then I kind of still continued that. And then I thought I was going to do this GIS stuff for a long time. And then I started doing GIS, and then I was like, this is cool, but I like programming more. And I ended up just doing programming. But I mean, everyone's good at different things, right? I like the puzzle nature of programming. That's what I always say. When people ask me what I do at work, I just tell them I solve puzzles. Because it's basically what it is, right? You start with small pieces, you put them together, then you sum them up into bigger pieces, and then get another big piece and slap it on the other one. The other time you're designing things, which is fun as well. Building dashboards for operational visibility. This sounds like a good article for cloud computing. Let's just skim, because I like pictures. Clients, client dashboard, microservice, yada, yada, yada. Carlos, thanks for the content. Thanks, man. Well, you're welcome. I'm just trying to help people and help them become better developers, and trying to share what I've learned to help people be the best that they can be. And not super well versed with AWS, but have you ever used CDK? And what's your opinion of it? I have dabbled, actually, with CDK. So actually, let me come back to that question. So much help with your videos. Thank you. I'm glad. That means that I'm doing something right. And you know what? This like doing this channel and doing this stuff has been rewarding in other ways. It's like it's helped my communication abilities. It's keeping my mind sharp so that I'm always learning new things. It's improving my skill set. It's like a blessing in so many ways. I can't even tell you. But back to your question, Leon. CDK, yeah, it stands for, I think, Cloud Development Kit or something. AWS CDK. And it's basically, so if you're just getting started in AWS, okay, how do I explain this? So when you're setting up a service, right? Like say you come to AWS land and you're like, hey, I want to build a serverless app, right? And it's like, okay, so you go to Lambda, right? You go there. You create a Lambda function, right? Create blah, 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 click that, right? Okay, cool. Now that's set up, right? And then you go to API Gateway, right? And then you go to API Gateway. And then you click a thing. You click, where's create API Gateway? Somewhere here. Why is this so hard? Anyways, you create an API gateway, right? And then you create a Route 53, so you can create a URL. So now you can expose routes through URLs. Problem is, like, say now you want to do this in a different region. You just did all of that in Ireland, but now you have customers that are in Africa, right? So now you need to go through here and do, whoa. Okay, maybe not Africa, Canada. You got some users in Canada. Now it's like, okay, I need to do the same thing because I need my service to be globally available. So now you see like the situation you're in where it's like you need to go and click all these things and type all this stuff and do all these things. And it's just a time sink. And so what CDK is, if we go to it, yeah, that's right, it's just an SDK. What am I saying? It's not a service. It's just a mechanism to declare, to create infrastructure declaratively. So what I mean by that is you create infrastructure as code. IAC is what it stands for, infrastructure as code. If you Google that, you'll find a lot of information on it. And it's just basically make it such that you create your infrastructure resources in such a way that you can deploy them to other regions. So it's done via code, and you can quickly port it over to other regions if you want. And there's a whole bunch of advantages for this. It's like one of them is deploying to other regions becomes very easy. Another thing is, what else? You have source control, right? So you can have people code review stuff, so you don't risk the chance of fat fingering something and clicking something and saying, oh, now a Lambda is deleted, or now I just deleted my database, blah, blah, blah. So CDK kind of taps into that need. And it's based on CloudFormation. Hi, bro, are you freelance or working in a tech company? I work at a tech company. What was I saying? Oh, CDK. But I wanted to talk about CloudFormation first because I think CDK is like a derivative of CloudFormation. So if you understand the CloudFormation concept, you'll understand CDK. Okay, maybe I don't want to create something here, but let's watch this video. Oh wow, this is 7 minutes.
In this video, you'll see how to simplify your infrastructure management using AWS CloudFormation. AWS CloudFormation allows you to model the resources you need for an application or solution in a text file formatted in JSON or YAML. This template, which you can upload manually or retrieve from an S3 bucket, defines the collection of resources as a single unit called a stack. CloudFormation translates the template's parameters into API calls and creates the stack. It then provisions the stack's resources as a running environment.
So that's the idea, right? It's basically like you create infrastructure through code, and then you upload it to AWS, and then AWS will just create all the things, and then you can set up like dependencies between them. So don't create this Lambda function until this API gateway is there, stuff like that. So it's very powerful. And you can create some very, very complicated stacks with like hundreds, if not thousands of resources to create. And it's all super easy in the sense that if you create something and it fails, it'll start rolling back all the changes of the stack. So it's great that way. Now back to your original question, like what do I think of CDK? So I've used CloudFormation a lot, and I use it all at work all the time. It's all we use. And CDK, like before I get into that actually, the way you write CloudFormation is through generally either JSON or YAML files, right? So it's just like a big JSON object, right? And then like, sometimes it can get pretty complicated figuring out how everything is hooked up because it's not really organized very well. And in order to get it even close to a semblance of some kind of organization, you need to, separate it into separate files, have some good naming conventions, yada, 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 right? And a lot of people just don't end up doing that. So CDK lets you define infrastructure as code. So using for loops, if loops, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully they give you some kind of example here, which they do not seem to do. Get started. Your first CDK app. Add code to the app to create resources within stacks, build the app. So, okay. So you're creating, so you're using, okay, so it's like a tool, like a command line tool. Okay, cool. Build the app, npm run build, list the stacks in the app, okay. npm install, add an Amazon S3 bucket. At this point, your app doesn't do anything useful because the stack doesn't define any resources. Let's define an Amazon S3 bucket. Install the Amazon S3 package from the AWS construct library. What do I think about Amplify CLI projects? I think they're a great way to get started and learn the basics. It makes it just dead simple to build apps very, very quickly, and that's why I think they're useful. But for like scalability projects, I'm not sure if it's a good idea. Prasanta says, hello from India. Hello from Canada. It must be, oh, it's probably evening for your, afternoon for you now. Niraj, are you the one that still buys books to learn? No, you are not. And I have proof. Hold on, I'll be right back. This is what I'm learning now. I don't know if you can read. Domain-driven design. Excellent book. For back-end developers mostly, and people that like domain modeling. Happy Independence Day in India. Hi bro, I got an issue with microservices in Fargate. How to assign environmental variables in a container registry to make it able to communicate with the other container? That's a good question. I haven't used Fargate enough to know. Sorry, Carlos. Which do you prefer between AWS AppSync and API Gateway? What's AppSync? Look at this. See, like I don't know all the services. It's ridiculous how many they have. Letting you create flexible API to securely access, manipulate, and combine data from one or more data sources is a managed service that uses GraphQL. Oh. Okay. Including those requiring real-time updates on a range of data sources. There's no SQL, blah, blah, blah. So this is, like, what do they use? WebSockets or something? Syncs the updates when the device was disconnected and not the entire data set. This is pretty cool, actually. Enterprise apps. Oh, so it's just like data feed. It's bi-directional, right? And then you use graph schema to push updates in either way. Cool. This seems neat. Does documentation count as a book? I would like to know the answer to that. I think the answer is yes. And if you say yes, then that means I've read a lot of books. I saw your video. Hold on, there's a couple questions here. Or a couple comments. I just ordered the Red Hat RSCA exam prep book. You know, there's value in having physical books, I think. I like them a lot. Let me make my face bigger here. I think there's value in physical books. But yeah, it's just don't get ripped off. Do you have a plan for making a video on Elastic Interface Accelerator using Lambda? I don't know what that is. Elastic Interface Accelerator. I'll have to look that up. I saw your video on API that was pretty clear. Do you have something for bulk API? I'm not sure what you mean. Not sure how salary/employment works in the US where you are, but in the UK, you can make some insane $500 daily on contracted work. It's pretty damn good, right? So like what, if you had, how much do people work these days? 9 hours? 8 hours maybe? So like 500 divided by 8. Okay. It's pretty good. $62.50 an hour. I mean, for most people, it's really, really good. I guess it depends on the currency. What was I looking at? Well, AppSync. For one or more data sources at a global scale.
AppSync is first and foremost an application data service with real-time and offline features implemented over GraphQL with additional capabilities such as built-in authorization and conflict resolution. It's not simply a GraphQL API proxy. You can have all sorts of applications, enterprise, mobile web, IoT apps, accessing a GraphQL API powered by AppSync to interact with different data sources in your account. Applications securely connect
Okay, this video is a bit
when the
too
client
long.
invokes a GraphQL query, mutation, or subscription. You can use a VTL or velocity template to modify the request before it gets to the data source. Maybe you need to add specific parameters or use utility helpers to validate the payload, creating identifiers, or validating.
Okay, so this is like a whole ecosystem. It's like you just don't. This feels like a one-way door. In the sense that, do you guys know what I mean by when I say one-way door? If you don't know what I mean, it's like when you say one-way door in software, it's like making a decision that you can't really recover from later. So like usually they say picking a cloud solution provider's kind of a one-way door, because it's like once you go with one solution, it's really, really hard to switch without some huge migration projects. And there's also like software specific ones. It's like where if we modify our model in a certain way, or let someone take a dependency in a certain way, then we've made a one-way door. We can never recover. Or you can't recover without significant effort. So that's what that means. Anyways, this thing seems like that because you need to like invest in their entire ecosystem. Are you working as a cloud solution architect or what label? My job is a software engineer. But I work with cloud stuff every day, like distributed systems and everything. Forget what I was reading. Oh yeah, it was this. What is my work setup? Well, on my work setup over there, I have a Mac laptop. I have a 32-inch monitor. I have some mechanical keyboards. Well, I have many, but I use a DAS keyboard. For the stream, I use this crappy wireless one because my mechanical one is too loud. Like, you hear that? So like when I'm doing stuff in videos, or in like you're watching me type, it's like all you can hear. It's ridiculous. So I get this one now, so it's like you can't really hear much. Let me know how much you guys can hear. But I like it better because it doesn't overwhelm the audio. And then what else do I have? I don't have a dock because I have a Mac and it's a pain in the butt, but I have like a splitter thingamajig. And then in terms of software, I use IntelliJ. That's well, I primarily program in Java, so that's why I use IntelliJ. But I would basically recommend like if you have the money, get WebStorm products. Like they don't pay me anything. They're not paying me to tell you this. This is like just my personal opinion. WebStorm products are amazing. Everyone I've used is fantastic in its own way. It's clean, easy to use, intuitive, everything. So like, let's go to WebStorm. They make an IDE for everything. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? WebStorm. JetBrains. JetBrains is the name. WebStorm is a product of JetBrains. They're so they have all sorts of things. Do I have it? What is that? ASMR keyboard. Yeah, I know, right? So I use basically whatever language I'm in. I use the JetBrains equivalent, or JetBrains product. So what do they have here? So I've used CLine, it's great. DataGrip is awesome. IntelliJ IDEA I use every day, it's great. PyCharm I've used before, it's pretty good. WebStorm I use for all my my full stack stuff. I'm not into C# or .NET or C++, so I don't use any of these. If I worked in a smaller company, I would probably use some of these other things for like issue managers and task managers and all that. And then they have like a crazy plugin scene too. So you can there's all sorts of open source plugins, open source themes. All you have to do is just like search them. I use like IntelliJ with Vim. So I don't know what's going to come up here, but I'll just give you oh yeah, I was doing something with Jedis the other day. Some people tell me I'm crazy because I have a white background. They say, you're not a real programmer. You have a white background. That's ridiculous. But yeah, so here's my Vim setup. And now I'm just like friggin' amazing at Vim. Like navigation, like centering things in the screen. It's, you know, medium. Yeah, there it is. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have my settings saved correctly. Because I think I have them all saved. Like my profile isn't synced to this machine. I have it registered on my work machine. I saw that you use Vim key mappings. How did you get into Vim? Well, that is a very interesting story. And it's a very simple story. I saw some guy who was amazing at Vim. And I was so impressed that I was like, I need to learn how to do this. And he was just like doing all sorts of things, like jumping over words and like doing these things and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I was like, this guy's like 3 times as fast as me. And like, I need to learn how to be that fast. So if you never use Vim, it's like, you know, it allows you to jump like beginning of line or end of line, beginning of line, allows you to jump words using W and then back. And then you can jump to different sections of the word. So you can jump to the end of a specific word or you can jump to the next word. Never gets old watching people struggle to escape Vim. I know, right? There's like a joke where, or a meme, I don't know, it's something that I saw, where it's a guy he went into like the Apple store and was like opening terminals with Vim in it and they couldn't get out or something. Favorite key mapping in Vim. Okay, so I've just learned this one recently. I'm literally learning new things every day. So let me just make sure I do this right. Right, okay. So actually I have 2. The first one that I just learned recently was that you can jump forward to a specific character. So for instance, if I want to jump, like there's something here that I'm interested in. I want to jump to this guy, to the pound, right? So how would you do this? Well, like the way I would do it is I would go like $, which is go to the end of the line and then press B, B, B until you get there, right? Or F. Okay, yeah, that's true. You can do that. Yeah, you're right. Probably is a lot simpler. But I've been using WT and then you can put in whatever you're looking for and it'll bring you to it right away. I don't know why. I like that a lot. And then if you have multiples in the line, you can keep on skipping toward it. It's like F. It's just basically the same thing. But I don't know why. I never just really used F. Why don't I use F? Am I just stupid? Hold on. Wait, so like, do that. So now if I do, okay, F pound, okay, then I have to do F pound again to get to the next one. So WT star brings me right before. WT pound again. Okay, so it still respects it. F. Actually, it works the same way. Dirt. Okay, maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. Anyways, maybe I'll start using F. Maybe not. Do semicolon and comma to move back and forth. Oh, okay. Once you're in the F mode. Semicolon and comma. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm probably going to start using this. See, you're learning something every day. So the other thing that I like is registers, which is, so for instance, if you do like YY, it grabs the line, and you can press P to paste it on the next line. And since I have like auto formatting on, it's just like doing some crazy stuff here, right? But often what happens is like you YY something and then you don't want to paste it yet, or you want to delete something. Like maybe I want to delete this, maybe I want to delete that. And if you press P, it just does the most recent thing, right? It redoes the most recent thing because that's what I deleted with DD. So what registers allow you to do is just basically maintain a register of anything you want. So the way it works is you do, here, I'll write the command for you. This, whatever register key you want. So say for instance, actually let's just say this. And then Y, all right? So for instance, if I want to copy this line, I'll say quotes Q. I'm copying it to the letter Q. That's my register, and then Y. So now it's copied to letter Q. So I can go and do like la 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 hello, right? Anything I want. And then if I do now quotes Q P, it'll paste it out. Wait, did that even work? Or did I forget to do YY? Yeah. You have to do YY. Sorry, I forgot. So it's to yank the line, right? So I use that a lot. So it's like copy paste, but like you can maintain multiple things on your clipboard. I know, right? Kind of unrelated to Vim, but another thing that I recently learned, you're always learning about your IDE, honestly. It never ends. Is if you hold Alt and you drag down, you can grab multiple lines. And then what's sick is that you can use Vim to do like, now this is like mind F, you know? Like, what is going on? I'm moving forward. I'm pressing W, by the way. And now you have like 30 cursors. So I just did D to the end of the line. There's all sorts of stuff. Isn't that like Control V in Vim? What does Control V in Vim do like by default? I don't even know. Windows V is the same. Windows V. What is Windows V? Windows V. What? Oh my god. Oh, Visual Block. Yeah. Wait, how do you use Visual Block? I didn't even know this was a thing. Oh my. Wait a second. So I just did Windows C. Is that how it works? Wow, my mind is blown. This is great. Why didn't I know about this? See what I mean? Never stop learning. Wow, thank you, Naruto, for telling me that. That's just like, these are the productivity tips that I need. Visual Block. I didn't know it was, it's just V, right? So usually when I'm using Visual Block, it's to like delete a bunch of stuff, like specifically up to a certain point. So like I do 0 to get to the beginning of the line, V to turn it on, and then like I'll do, oops, what did I just do? Try that again. V, and then whatever, and you get everything that you want. I'm usually just deleting lines. Windows hiding things. I know, right? And there's this other feature actually where you can like, oh yeah, you can like create multiple desktops. I think I just confused myself. Oh, is my camera not focusing? Hey, what's going on? Trying to see what's happening here. Yeah. Does my camera look blurry, guys? Why do I look so blurry? That's not nice. I gotta figure that out later. My fiance was screwing with my setup. She's actually starting her own channel. She does beading. She does, you know, like tiny little seed beads. So it's she enjoys it. She makes some cool stuff. What was I doing here? Yeah, just Vim stuff. IntelliJ's awesome. Anyways, guys, I am getting a little bit tired. It is... What time is it? Okay, it's almost 12, and I gotta wake up early tomorrow. So I will see you all later. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great evening and great weekend. Get outside, get some sun. I'll see you all later. Have a good night.